I don't have my thing.
Hello, family, friends, and fans, and welcome. Good afternoon. I have something really cool for you today. We're going to be talking about corporate mental health advocacy, and I want you to meet someone very special and dear to me. I call her Tangi, but you could call her the crazy green goddess. She's located here in Houston, and she's working to serve those that are in the space of needing help with their mental health, and also as I would say, a practitioner of what she preaches. She's going to be helping us to understand some of the things inside of the mental health space. Maddie, I want to yield the floor to you right now so that you can come up and introduce yourself to the folks.
Thank you. How you doing, everyone? I am Crazy Green Goddess. Please say the crazy. Don't forget the crazy. All right, then. I'm a mental health advocate here in Houston. I've been advocating for mental health for over 10 years here in Houston, in different aspects of mental health, sickle cell sector, mental health sector. And right now we have an outreach that we want to outreach and bring mental health awareness in leadership.
Outstanding. Um, I'm glad you said in leadership because leadership is an area that I really like focusing on. It's been a big part of my thinking and my growth as an individual. What do you think leaders are missing in the mental health space right now? What sort of thing do they need to understand as leaders?
Well, as leaders, I feel like it's a lot of things that needs to be understood. Uh, One is empathy. One is the things that causes mental health in the workplace. How their leadership can make an impact on mental health, and how leadership has a direct impact on mental health in the workplace.
Oh,
So we have a bunch of notes. Well, I have a bunch of points that we can go over on how mental health in the workplace is important.
thank you. Since you've been on this wellness journey, you've helped me when I've had struggles in the past, especially with coping, managing stress, a little bit of attitude adjustment, a lot of help in those regards, helping us to do some perspective taking and also get stronger. That's one of the areas that I've had to rely on you in the past. I wanted to know, did you want to go through like the notes that I had and then we could kind of talk to the people about it?
Yeah, let's go through the notes that you have, because those are some really key points.
Fantastic. So, one of the things that I wanted to reach out to the leaders about was unlocking their leadership growth. And you know how important it is to grow as an individual, anyhow, but to create a more resilient, more authentic leadership style, how to really focus on the individual that you're working with in such a way that they don't feel ostracized or stigmatized or pushed away. And a lot of that starts with self awareness. And tell me some of the practical coping things that you believe are helpful for users, for our leaders to start talking to people about with their mental health. What sort of coping things do you think are good?
Well, as far as coping, you're saying as far as the leadership, how would they pass that on for the people under them to cope?
I would
Or
say yes. How could they
okay,
be a good example of using coping?
okay. Well, a good example of using coping, I feel like as a leader, it is self awareness, because in order for you to be able to help someone, you have to be aware on how you come off onto a person. So that's important, because it doesn't really matter what you say. It matters how you come off, because that's how people receive things. So you can say what you're going to say out of love, on how to cope. If they need a break, a breather, they can give them different tips and skills, because it really depends on what type of environment that the workplace is in as well. However, I do want to say that it's important as a leader that you are self-aware, because when you do approach that person on how to cope, you want to be self-aware on how you're coming off. Are you coming off authentic? Are you being fake? How are you being received?
Because one thing we don't want to be is condescending to the person that's having it, right?
Right, right. Don't want to be condescending. So that's important as well.
I wanted to talk about titles, and I know a lot of people are tripped up about their title, are very protective of their title, but I understand that we could be leaders in multiple phases of our life and career, that we could be working together in order to accomplish effective leadership as a team. And if one team member is hurting, I'm sure leaders are wondering, well, how can I make things more palatable? How can I make it work for the entire team? Because it's not just about the title. Um, what are some of the things that, when you're looking at a leader, what do you value for leaders that are effective in helping people with maybe a mental health challenge?
Well, I would feel like the leader really going to, and not to judge anyone or say who's the weaker link, but the one that's having issues on the team. I feel like as an effective leader, taking that one-on-one personal, showing some compassion, um, and as a leader, identifying where that person might be lacking, whether it's emotional, physical, whatever it is within the team. I think that's really effective because that's the leader showing compassion, showing that they're a leader. They can identify, be self aware that this person needs help, give them skills to cope with, and also guide them in a way that can help them mentally. Just being able to understand when and being able to identify when that person is um, maybe lacking on the team through some mental things that might be going on. And not saying that a leader has to be a psychologist, and a psychiatrist and be able to identify that type of thing. But once again, being self-aware, knowing your team, being a good leader, being an effective leader is knowing.
Thank you, Maddie. Um,
Right.
as the Crazy Green Goddess, I noticed that you were having us previously when we talked before was about clear communications and how valuable that is to the mental health person or the person encountering a mental health event. Uh, you know, we say crazy green goddess, but some people may take it in a negative connotation rather than in a positive connotation. What do you have to say about that, Maddie, when we use the word crazy?
Well, for one, crazy. It is about a unique self-expression, and just being your own unique self. And that's me. I'm very unique. I'm gonna do what I want to do as far as me, not really following the trends. So saying that, I came up with the word crazy is because I think of God's blessings. That's the biggest influence behind the word crazy. It has a lot to do with God's blessings, and it has a lot to do with his protection that's over me, that's over my life. And I know that's over other people's lives. So every time God bless me, like miraculously, it's always a crazy blessing. It's a
Mm.
crazy blessing. So that's why I am the crazy green goddess because God always blessed me crazy abundantly. I'm crazy protected. Like it's all the crazy things in a good way. And that's what makes it unique because people do say crazy in a condescending manner, in a belittling manner. And I just want to take that and turn that perspective around. Crazy is not at all a bad thing. It's not.
I'm glad that you said that because right now, what I hear you saying is that in your journey as a leader, that you found that embracing this was a good way of you moving forward, increasing your resilience, increasing your strength, increasing your capability of connecting with others. Because I know you have a fairly large following that's working with you in their space in order to be better. So that it's a healing sort of thing, I could tell.
It is. It's really healing and something that I really enjoy. That people come to me because I feel like that's my purpose. A part of my purpose is to be a leader, and I understand to be a leader you have to be a servant. You must be a servant before you can lead. Most definitely.
A time back, you told me about the three pillars for effective leadership communication, which you told me that was empathy, You also said that it was clear communication, and you also shared that it was confidence.
Right.
So, uh, the three things that you taught me were active listening, storytelling, and asking the right questions. That's what you told me. You said if you go to people and you're actively listening, and also that you're going to be able to share a story, tell a story with them, and they share a story with you. And then you also said ask the right questions in order
Yes.
to bring about understanding. These are the three pillars that you had exposed me to. Which of
Right.
the pillars do you rely on the most?
The pillar that I rely on the most is the effective listening. Most definitely. Well, and asking the right questions too. So it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to choose. Because they all three of those, they all are important.
Yeah.
But the most one is asking the right questions.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Moving on, I also wanted to include you in the discussion about coping with stress. And I know we're going to go back to it again, but I wanted to mention your special approach of managing stress. Do you want to share that with our listeners and kind of give them some clue about it?
Well, I know we talked about it. We're going to talk about it some more, but mine is humor.
Mm.
Okay, humor is it just works for me. It works. Just shifting, and I don't know why. I find things funny. It could, and it's not a nervous thing, not at all. But I shouldn't laugh sometimes. But I do find it comical when people flip out or whatever. But I might find it funny, and I might laugh. But that laugh really releases the tension, because sometimes people have to identify when um when you have to laugh at that. You have to laugh at it. That de-escalates a lot of situations. Not only does it help cope on both sides when, okay, you let a person get that out, especially in the workplace. Like if you feel better, you want to vent, you want to her get it out, you're gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh, most definitely. I'm gonna make you laugh. And then we're gonna talk about this because I can identify what just happened. And so since I can identify what just happened with you because of my affected listening, I can laugh at it and then I can let you talk. And then I can help you identify what just happened. If you can't identify, put a name on that emotion or what just happened. I can help you right then and there. But we're gonna laugh it out first. We're gonna laugh.
I'm glad you mentioned that humor as a strategy for coping.
Yeah.
Um, One of the takeaways, and I want you to help us conclude this, which is take charge. And when you're saying take charge, I remember we talked about the ladder of accountability. You talked about working above the line, going from victim to victor to victorious. So, what are some of the things you want to say about taking charge before we conclude our time together today?
What I want to include about taking charge is the self accountability in all things. Um, and I feel like that's the take charge. In order to be a leader, you have to have self accountability in order to lead by example, if you want to set example. And that's taking accountability on how you speak to folks, how you treat folks, and what you're also teaching them as well, and what they're teaching you as well. So I think that's the takeaway from that of being a good leadership.
Outstanding. Well, one of the things that I wanted to do and also share with others is that if they want to get in contact with you, I told them they can follow you on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle just to make sure I'm telling them right?
It's crazy being goddess.
All right, so you can look her up on Instagram. I'm encouraging you to go out there, connect with the Crazy Green Goddess, get on her show. She has a lot of things going on. She has a lot of products and services as well. But we'll do that as we go down the line and talk about those different things that she offers. But most importantly, we want to make sure that we're advocating in the workspace for those that have mental health challenges or having mental health events while at the workplace. We've seen what happens when it goes way wrong and people get hurt. So what
Right.
we're working on is creating an environment where we can come in, destigmatize it, discuss it, and also plan for it as a leader. because stress is very strong. I mean, stress make diamonds. Stress will bust a pipe. So we know that a lot of pressure and a lot of stress causes events to take place. And what we want to do is thank you. Maddie, do you have any parting words you want to leave with the listeners?
No, that'd be it. I thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being here. And just do everything with love, out of love. Let it come from love, and we'll be all right.
Thank you, Crazy Green Goddess.
All right.